Let's talk about pet bags. And to set the stage, I'd like you to meet a special guest. Meet Cobbler. Cobbler is a 19-year-old orange tabby rescue. He's an indoor kitty, mostly. Nowadays, he is an indoor kitty. He hates driving in the car, being in any kind of a car. Anyway, Cobbler's a good boy. I love him. I wouldn't want to leave him behind when there's emergencies. He knows he's on camera. You're not ready for your close-up, are you? I started by thinking about the scenarios that might make me leave my home with my pet. Now, we don't have a lot of natural disasters in my area yet. The two things that they do warn us about are earthquakes and severe snowstorms. Now, I've lived through both, but I've never felt the need to leave my home. While civil unrest and the potential for attacks are growing concerns, we live not very far from an Air Force base. I'm just keeping an eye on that. But honestly, the biggest thing that I think about that I might have to leave my home is if something happened to my family on the West Coast and we needed to leave for an indeterminate amount of time in a big hurry. So my most likely scenario for leaving my home would involve my car. And probably yours would too. Still, as with all of our kits, including our pet kit, we need to plan for the possibility that we might have to be on foot. And the size, types, and number of pets you have here really matters. If you have a big, healthy dog, he's probably going to be able to go on his own feet. But if you have a sick dog or small dogs, cats, or other small animals, you're going to need carriers and crates for those, and one for each of them. And if you plan on going to a shelter, if it accepts pets at all, they're going to need to be in a crate or carrier. And a lot of shelters don't accept pets. So find out what your community's plan is for sheltering in an evacuation and if they allow pets. Because if they don't, then you're going to need to make other arrangements for boarding your pet in an emergency or make an alternate evacuation location plan that is out of your area and is easy to reach within a few hours. I recommend that you brainstorm with neighbors, family, and friends for ideas of what to do in different scenarios in your specific area. So let's walk through a scenario where I've decided that I'm going to leave my home with my pet. The first thing is to locate the pet and get some identification on them. Cobbler is microchipped, but he's an indoor kitty, so we don't leave a collar on him on the daily. I do have a little collar for him that has a tag that has his name and our phone numbers on it. It's a little reflective collar. We tried doing a bell collar. He hates them, but this way I can find him in the dark. I also have a little harness for him because if I hook the leash to this, he pulls right out of it, but he can't pull out of the harness. And then I have a leash for him. So you're going to locate your pet. You're going to get their collar, other identification on it. Some people use air tags and there's other locating devices that you can attach to your pet to make sure that you can find them in case of an emergency. Remember that pets are very sensitive and they will start to feel if there's a panic going on and there's emergency going on, they can start to feel that and it can make them behave erratically. And there's a lot of darters out there. It's very common for pets to disappear, run away during an emergency, and you don't want that to happen to your pet. So find them, get them secured, get them identified, and then get them contained. Now at 18 pounds, Cobbler is a big kitty. So I opted to get a small dog carrier for him that I can put in the car. I leave this set up all the time so that he can acclimate to it. He sleeps in it a lot of the time, and it really makes it comfortable for him, so he's not going to freak out as much if we have to bundle that up and take him in it. Another option I've considered is that I do have a collapsible wagon, so if the terrain allowed me to use a wagon, I could put the big carrier in the wagon and pull that. Now, if you plan to evacuate on a bike, you might want to look into one of those little bike trailer things that you can pull your kids in and your pets. Especially if you have young kids, that's a good investment for you. They are a little more expensive, so plan accordingly. So I've got him identified, I've got him in his carrier. The next thing to think about is poop and pee. Now, if you have a dog, you're probably going to be able to get away with some doggy bags and a leash. and maybe some puppy pads. Also, some fur babies might have to wear pet diapers. But cat owners also need litter boxes, scoops, litter, and probably a trash bag or a litter box liner. These items are bulky and can be heavy, so you need to consider how you're going to carry them with you. There are a few travel options on the market. They're not great quality, but they do the job. To save on weight, you can get some lightweight litter or consider some litter alternatives. I recommend that you practice now with your cat. Set up your travel litter situation close to their normal litter situation and observe. This is a great way to get them acclimated to it, and also if something isn't working, you can adjust your setup. Take Cobbler for example. I have Cobbler on a wood pellet litter system. Wood pellets are lighter, cheaper, less tracking, and have good odor control. But there are several steps to using them. You scoop the poop out the same way, but pee turns into sawdust, which needs to be filtered out. At home, I use a series of sieves boxes to make this quick work, but on the road, that's going to be too bulky and too inconvenient. So for now, I don't plan on sifting out the sawdust. I'll just take the litter box liner off at the end and throw the whole contents away after the ordeal is over. But I am trying out a new lightweight alternative litter situation that's a little bit more like traditional litter box setup. It's Tofu-based. The point is, try different things before you need them so that you can make adjustments. I've built the rest of Cobbler's kit in this convenient little fanny pack. If you have a big dog, you could get one of those little Doggie saddlebag backpacks for them to carry their own kit. But for a lot of animals, you're going to need to carry their kit. This backpack is super convenient. Now let's talk about food and water. I've planned for 3 days of food. Cobbler is a senior kitty, so he's on a wet cat food diet. So I have 3 cans of his cat food here. I give him half of it in the morning and half of it in the afternoon. To portion that out, I have this little spoon that is kept in a little Ziploc bag. And since I'm going to open it in the morning and it needs to be covered for the rest of the day, I have this little silicone cover. Since these items are heavy and bulky, I'll put them in the little pack first. And they just so happen to fit, all 3 side by side. The next big heavy thing I'm going to put in is his leash. Make sure that the big heavy things fit in well. I also have included a couple of tubes of his favorite cat treats and a few of these little squeezy treats to comfort him. Give him a little treat. And put those in the bag. The next thing is water. I'm going to put this in his cat carrier in the side. When he runs out of that water, then I'm going to use my water. We do keep water in the car all the time, and we have water filters in our kits. So we'll make water after that. Cobbler drinks a lot of water. Yes, the vet has checked him out. He's okay. To give him a drink, I have these convenient little collapsible dishes. These come with lots of pet products these days, so you probably already have some sitting around. They're great when they have a little carabiner so you can hang it on the outside, especially if this has had water in it. You don't want water getting all over your pack, so you hang it on the outside while it dries. Now, Cobbler will probably eat his food out of the little cans, but in case he doesn't, I have an alternate dish. So these 2 things are going to hang on the outside of my pack from the little carabiners. I liked the idea of this little all-in-one. It's kind of got a dish, it's got a water dispenser in it, it's got a little removable end for putting kibble in there that can come out, little thing on the bottom. Love the idea of it. If you screw the lid on really tight, it doesn't leak. Cobbler won't use it. I think this is probably better for a dog, but the point is, I tried something else. Try new things. Sometimes you'll find a solution that really works for you, and sometimes you don't, but I can gift this to somebody who does have a dog. Now let's talk about grooming, cleanup, and meds. I have a few things here. I have some little pet nail clippers. I live in a tick area, so I bought this little tick kit that has a lot of different tools. I'm probably going to pare this down. I don't need all of these tools for Cobbler. You can just get away with just tweezers, but make sure that you learn how to use these, because if you use them wrong, you can make the problem worse, and you don't want to do that. But especially if you have a dog and you plan on being in a rough terrain, a tick kit is a pretty good idea. I'm going to see if that'll all fit in there. I also have a pair of collapsible scissors, so if Cobbler gets hurt, I can cut the fur away from around a wound and tend to that. Now for pet hair, I have this little reusable pet hair removal tool that came, this is actually the travel size one. It came in a 2-pack with a full size and a travel size one. So this is perfect. It works fairly well, but you can also get these little tiny lint roller things are great. But also I've put a little bit of all-purpose tape around my little spoon here so I could use this to remove hair. Let's put these in. I also have this little spray bottle that contains some of my favorite odor neutralizing spray. It's this Nature's Miracle stain and odor remover. This stuff is magic. I use it all the time if he has an accident or if he throws up or just generally smelly. And I just put it in this little travel container and put a label on it. I don't need instructions on how to use it because it's fairly easy to use. And then I have this rather large, I wish it were smaller, but this is a pet grooming device, so I can clean his fur. It also has a little massage tool on the other side. Nice and convenient. I just wish it was a little bit smaller. Okay. I also have a couple of things for humans. I have a couple of nitrile gloves and a few alcohol wipes. Now these are not for my pet. If you're going to use wipes on your pet, you always want to get pet safe wipes. I don't have any in my kit right now, but I'll probably add that later. And also I have a little bit of antibacterial. Pets, like us, sometimes need first aid. Consult with your vet to make a treatment plan for your pet, but I have some ideas for you. First, of course, if your pet is on any special medications, make sure that those medications are included in your kit, as well as the means to administer those medications. For instance, if it's a liquid, you're going to want to have a syringe, or if it's a medication that needs to be cold, then you need to plan for a cooler or an ice pack to keep that cold. I also had my vet prescribe Cobbler a little sedative medication for when he goes in the car. This happens to fit right inside this roll of Coban. Very convenient. Cobbler freaks out in the car, and this would help him calm down a little bit so that he doesn't get dehydrated or have an accident. I also have a little bit of dewormer medication for him to put in his water dish. I've chosen to include a few sticks of local, raw, unpasteurized, unfiltered honey. I'd prefer to have medical grade honey or Manuka honey, but that stuff's really expensive. So this is going to do in a pinch. Honey has been shown to be a good antimicrobial, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial substance used in lots of different kinds of pet care and human care. You can use it for minor wounds that have stopped bleeding. You can use it on scratches. You can use it for kennel cough. You can use it for conjunctivitis around the eyes. There's lots of different uses for it. I love how convenient the little straws, individual straws are. You just cut the tip off with your scissors. I carry some ziplock bags to put it in if I don't use the whole thing. Easy to travel, easy to carry, very nice. And where is it going to fit best? I like to keep all the medication together. I would just clear the wound, clean it with some water, spread a little bit of honey on it, and then I have this little pill pouch that has some 2x2 gauze squares in it that I would place over it and then use the Coban to attach it. Now if your pet licks it off, it's honey. It doesn't matter. You just reapply and start over. Keep an eye on the gauze, especially if it's something that's oozing, so you can change that out multiple times. Seriously, it's a good idea to look into the magic of honey and learn how to use it. But if you don't want to use honey, there's a lot of other options for wound care, pet wound care on the market. Just whatever you do, don't use human ointment like Neosporin on a pet wound. That's a big no-no. Now on to sleep. If your pet has a favorite bed, try to find a way to take that with you. You can wrap it in a garbage bag to keep it clean, or I recommend purchasing a big case that has a carrying strap so that it frees up your hands. Cobbler already likes to sleep in his pet carrier, so I'm planning on using that if I have the pet carrier. But if I can't take the carrier, I have just a small fleece blanket that he can sleep on, or you can use an old towel. Just sleep is important. Some other items to consider including is if your pet gets cold, you can get a pet sweater or a heating pad if you have the means to heat it. Also for your dogs, you can get some paw booties for in a shelter or out on the trail. And to relieve pet stress, you might consider getting one of those head sleeves like a happy hoodie to calm them down. Some small animals really find comfort in those baby slings. They're pretty cool actually. And this might be controversial, but you might consider getting a muzzle. And before you come at me in the comments, there are a lot of humane options on the market these days. They allow for good airflow and less restriction while keeping everybody safe. And if you're going to go to a shelter, a lot of shelters require muzzles. So shop around and find something that works for you and your pet. Finally, just like with kids, pets need mental stimulation, distraction, and entertainment. So don't forget to put in your pet's favorite safe toys. Cobbler isn't a cat toy cat, but he will chase this little shoelace for a little while. I don't know, maybe I'll include that for the other cats. Now this bag also has a little pocket in the back where I could put my identification in case this gets lost somewhere, as well as his identification. This is a pretty fat pack, but remember that as I use it, the items in there, this will get smaller and lighter. But I really like how convenient this is. Okay, here's how I envision this working. So first of all, I'm going to put the litter box on this side. And on this side, I'm going to put the scoop and the water bottle. I'm going to take this blanket and an extra Ziploc bag, gallon size. I'm going to put it underneath the padding in the bottom of this. Actually, I'll put the Ziploc underneath it. Also have an extra garbage bag down here, but I can put the blanket on top of that. Okay, so that's ready to go, ready to put Cobbler in it. I'm gonna have to carry the litter, and I'll show you how that whole setup goes, because once I get to the site and set up the litter box for the first time, I'm just gonna leave this all in there. And it folds up like a suitcase. This is just when I'm going. Okay, so I'm gonna take this, the Fanny pack, which I can keep low on my hips, like that. Now I'm gonna keep all these things in the front because remember, I'm gonna have my pack in the back. So what I'm gonna do with this is put this on in the front like this. So I'll be balanced out with the 18-pound cat in the front and my pack in the back. Yes, it's going to be heavy. I know that. I'm training for that. Right. Imagine that there's a really angry kitty in here. I'm not going to put him through that right now. He's really going to hate this. Oh my God. See what I mean? Get in there. Get in there. Get your tail in there. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh my God, he hates me. This is really hard on me. There you have it. There's my setup. That's how I would go. Here. All right, you can get out. You can get out. Be free! Oh, other side. Turn. Be free. Anyway, that's my setup, with of course this in my hands, and me and my husband will take turns carrying the litter box. So, what do you think? Now, in the event that I'm taking this in the car, of course I'm not going to need to have this on my person. This is the carrier that I have for the car. It's very good sized. I could put some other stuff in here if I needed to. And it does have a shoulder strap as well as some handles for carrying if I need to. But this is really awkward to carry around. This is mostly just for moving it around, like inside the car and stuff. This would not be a viable option for carrying it long distance, not like this backpack is. Anyway, that's my current emergency setup. I'd love to hear your comments, what you would add to it, and what you think of the kit. I really love to listen to other people's ideas about prepping and getting ready for emergencies and dealing with the things that life throws at us.